Scripting plays a crucial role in YouTube. Without an engaging script, you won't be able to captivate and retain your audience through your storytelling. A correct script accounts for 50% of your success on YouTube, because if your content isn't interesting to listen to, nobody will watch your videos. You asked me for this, so this video is about how to write a viral script for YouTube videos. I personally forbid you from using AI to write scripts. Let me explain my viewpoint on this matter. Take GPT Chat, for example. It's fed with a basic database of knowledge that's useful in most cases. When it comes to creative work like coming up with video ideas, titles or scripts, it becomes absurd. If I were to input a request asking it to write a script for this video, it might not seem as bad as I'm telling you. It's written to be understandable, but if you read what it generates, you'll likely notice that it doesn't sound very compelling or attention-grabbing like a human would. It's absurd to read about writing a script so it sounds natural, written by a robot. Really? I'm no one to stop you from using it, but don't complain if AI-generated content doesn't resonate with you. There's one good example of a channel I've covered before. He has grown his channel using AI narration, but that's a huge rarity and exception. You won't achieve the same. Even though he don't use his voice, he come up with his own script. So think about whether it's worth sharing an AI's perspective instead of sharing your own experience. So you've realized it's better to write the script yourself and you're eager to start. But before you begin, you need to understand what not to do. Since videos start with an intro, let's start there. Here's a question for you. What do most beginner YouTubers say at the start of their videos? Right. Hi everyone, today I'd like to talk about such an interesting topic as please like, subscribe and leave comments to support me. Also follow me on my other social media to stay updated on my life. Now a question for you. What are you doing? Nobody knows you, nobody is interested in your life. People came to watch content on a topic that interests them. Why should they subscribe to you if, beyond your high, they heard nothing? You've given them nothing, but ask you for something in return. It's very silly. Don't do this in your interests. Your task is to hook the viewers and touch on their pain points. They click on the video to get information on a specific topic and want that question answered. In my example, the opening line speaks about the importance of a script in your video, which is indeed true. The next line talks about the failure of their video if they don't have a good script. I'm pointing out the unpleasant consequences they wanna avoid. The finishing line to attract them informs them that this video will do 50% of the work for them. That's how crucial it's in video creation. And how to write a viral script for YouTube video is the sentence that clearly communicates the theme of this video and kicks off the discussion. Now, onto the important part, storytelling in the middle of the video. The most important rule you should internalize is, if you can convey your information clearly without certain sentences, remove those sentences. Trim down what doesn't contribute to the fullness of your story. People don't like being told nothing. The more useful information you provide in your videos, the more positively viewers will regard you and value you as an author. Don't pour water, and people will appreciate that. Your script should have structure. You create this structure by forming blocks. One single block is your video. It's a large block where you outline the topics you'll cover in your video. It looks something like this. Intro, followed by the topics you'll cover in your video, and outro, where you conclude your video. You ask the viewer for something like subscribing or talk about upcoming videos. I also add information about my products to this list, but it's not the time yet, so I'll continue. You break down the block into smaller blocks, meaning you divide it into topics. I've created a separate tab where I write these topics so I can base my script on them. I do all this in Notion for my convenience. I also write the topic for the future video here and leave thumbnails of successful videos on the same topic. You can do this collaboratively by giving access to your team. It's a very handy program. I recommend it to everyone. Link in the description. After creating your smaller blocks, you need to structure them according to the 3-act framework. If you are unfamiliar with this concept and wondering what it is, let me explain. This structure is divided into 3 parts: setup, confrontation, and resolution. This structure is used in filmmaking. The same structure is applied in YouTube Shorts when telling stories. You can watch videos about shorts if you are interested. Speaking of the entire video, the first act is your intro, the second act is your narrative, and the third act is your outro. Applying this structure to smaller blocks, the first act is what I'm talking about. For example, now I'll tell you about. The second act is explain how it's done, how it works, and so on. The third act is a brief conclusion that you may not even need to explicitly state, but the viewer has already grasped it mentally. Important advice: create a seamless transition between blocks. This means erasing the boundaries between topics so that the person doesn't even realize you've moved onto another subject. This can be done effectively if you find something in common between topics and through this commonality lead to another idea. Initially, this might be challenging, but with time, you'll understand how to do it. However, this won't be enough to improve your script. To learn how to write beautifully and engagingly, you need to read books. By reading books, you can understand how authors formulate thoughts to be clear and interesting. After all, a book may not have any pictures, videos, or other attention-grabbing elements, yet it's still enjoyable to read. You don't even hear the author's voice, but you're still interested. I believe that writers of interesting books could be great creators on YouTube. As a content creator myself, I don't adhere to any specific rules when writing a script. I simply started reading books and noted how authors present information. This truly helped me a lot, so I recommend it to you as well. When I read a script, I read it several times, and if something doesn't sit right with me, I change it or remove it altogether. I think viewers ask me to explain how to write a script for a reason. Thank you for that. Additionally, for better viewer retention, dynamic editing can help. Many people have commented on my videos about my interesting editing style. That's why I've decided to teach others the same and can teach you in just 40 minutes. It's a course that will provide you with a solid foundation of knowledge and practice. You'll be able to replicate these frameworks along with me and accomplish even more because I give you homework to reinforce your knowledge. If you wanna learn this quickly, you are welcome to join. Link in the description. Lastly, I want to thank everyone for watching and for the support, especially those who engage in the comments under the videos. Thank you for that, and thanks to these people who decided to evaluate my product. Best of luck in writing awesome scripts.